your seats, where you can stand, doesn't matter. For those of you that don't know, my name's Scott Davis. I live at 219 North Chillicothe. I thought this was my duty, my obligation to kind of head this up so that people can find out who the best mayor candidate is going to be for our next mayor election. Just for the note, you know, there's 3 chairs up here. All 3 candidates were invited. All 3 candidates told me they were coming. Whatever happened. It's on Facebook. Who cares? It's in the past. Let's bury it. Let's be gentlemanlike, professional-like, and let's get on with this. Here's the format that I have. I picked it out of the sky. Let's put it together. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the rules, okay? Which I kind of touched on about being a gentleman. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. There will be no open forum during the debate for the audience to ask questions. However, the candidates will remain available after the debate to talk to individuals. I noticed there's somebody here with a notepad. I'm sure you probably have questions there that you want to ask each candidate, which that's your right. That's why we're having this tonight. So you can go to each candidate, okay? We ask that you remain quiet during the debate and give respect to each candidate as they speak. I did bring a microphone that was on loan from the Historical Society. They let us borrow it. Miss Jackson, Bethany Jackson, picked it up for me today since I had to work. So it's not the best, so it's up to you guys if you want to use it or not. As you can tell, I don't need to. So with that, let's start with the introductions. But before we do this, Lauren, since you're the youngest person in here, I need you to pick a number through 1 to 10, okay? And I want you to share that number with me, okay? Hold on a minute, okay? You got the number? All right, let's do an alphabetical order. Mr. Lee and Mr. Eudaily, so alphabetical order, pick a number, please. 1 to 10, you pick up 2. And what's your number? Say already. Start down. What was your number? 2. Did everybody hear the number? No. Say it again. 2. She picked 2, so Ms. Eudaily will be the first candidate that I ask questions to. Okay. And so I ask the first question, which, by the way, they were given a copy of the questions beforehand to quickly look over. That's what we was out there talking about. I'm going to be timing you. At the end of the 2 minutes, or thereabouts, I'll give you a warning, 5, 10 seconds, whatever. And then Mr. Lee, that's when you need to say what you have to say about the question. Once we're done with the questions, each of them will give a chance to give their closing comments, statements, and then once we're done at the end, Mr. Ryan Lang will stop recording this because this will be on YouTube tomorrow.
No, a couple days.
Couple days?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, that's when the question and answer session will be for each of you to ask the questions to them. Before we get started, is there any questions? No? I got a bunch of shaking heads. No? All right, we're fine. All right, cool. All right, Mr. Eudaily, with that being said, would you please introduce yourself?
Okay. I'm Jimmy Eudaily. My wife is Tiffany. We've been married 23 years. I came down, we got 6 kids. They range in age from, I got one that's 21, 19, 16, 14, 12, and soon to be 10. If I put that in there, you'd be mad. I said he's 9 because he's not yet. I got 4 girls, 2 boys. We've got, as you can tell from the age groups, I've got 4 kids still in the schools here in Alder. I've got 2 of my oldest daughters are out of college out in Idaho. And so I'm just for 6 months of the year. I'm a civil engineer. Specifically as a civil engineer, I'm a structural engineer. So I design bridges for a living. I climb on bridges, I'm a bridge inspector, and I'm a project manager right now officially with my company where I'm at. I've got 4 engineers that are underneath me in my group that I manage, and part of that is I got to figure out, what I have to do each day, make sure that they have a work schedule for them, and make sure we're the budgets and we're doing our projects. One of the things that we moved out here 8 years ago. We chose to move out here. Years ago, we came out to this community, we loved it, and then when the opportunity came for us to move out here, we took advantage of that and moved out here 8 years ago. We love this community. My kids have been able to do things in the schools in the previous community they would never been able to do. We've been able to do things in this community that we probably wouldn't have been able to do where we were before as well, and that's one reason why we came out here. because we love that community atmosphere that's here and the close feel that we had. My wife grew up in a very small town. If you've ever been out east of Columbus, Kirkersville, there's one stoplight, 3 churches and 2 bars, or 2 churches and 3 bars, depending on what time of year it is. It seems they swap. So we like that small town feel, and that's what I liked when we moved out here. We're very involved in the community with sports. Since we've been active for 8 years, 6 of the years I've coached in the PCABA, either baseball, softball, or volleyball I've done. I love being around kids. In fact, before we were setting up, I'm over here against the fence rail watching the kids hit balls over there. I'm like, I just want to be over there and throw balls at them. That's what I love doing. I love being involved in the community. And that's one reason why I want to run for mayor. I want to see what we can do in the next 5 to 10 years in this community. I see there's going to be a change. We see that there's going to be growth happening, and I want to be part of that change. And that's why I want to be your mayor. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
My name's Darrin. Thanks everybody for coming. It's nice to see people interested in the community. My wife Tara and I've been married for 21 years. We lived in the village just over 20 years. Never thought we'd be here this long, truthfully. We bought our house, thought we'd be here probably 4 or 5 years, move on. But we stayed, fixed our house up, stayed in the community, made friends, so we've enjoyed it here, stayed here. I'm still an engineer as well. Kind of odd, 2 seconds.
It's going to be scary. You can get an engineer. Look out there.
Like you said, 2 out of 3 chance. I work for the city of Darron, and my main focus there is maintaining infrastructure, primarily transportation stuff, roadways, bridges, bike paths, sidewalks, all that kind of stuff. Analyze their stuff, look and see what's going to be maintained in the future, budget for that, plan for that, manage the construction of those every year, and so on. So, again, thanks for coming, thanks for putting this together.
No problem. Thank you. All right. All right, that was the introduction of the candidates. We had slotted a spot for a 3rd person. Okay, I'm seeing here, so let's move on. The first question, you have 2 minutes to answer the question. At the end of the 2 minutes, Mr. Lee, just go right into it. And as soon as we get to question number 2, you'll answer first, and then pass it over to him. Understand?
Yep.
Okay. All right. First question, and for these who don't know, the questions I put out on Facebook saying, hey, if you have any questions that you want to ask, please send them to me. I'll put them together. I'll filter out the bad questions. One of the questions I had was about religion. I'm not going to ask them about their religion. That's something that you guys can do on your own if you want to know. So that was a good question to filter out. So with this question, the first one. Question number 1. What is one of the first actions you plan to address once you're in office? Before you answer that, if you need me to repeat the question after I ask the first candidate, I would be more happy to do that for you. Okay. That being said, you're on the clock, sir.
One of the first things I think I need to do as mayor is I got to get council to work together. If we've seen in the papers the last year, maybe just even 9 months, we got to get council to work together. You can't go forward, you can't gain and can't improve unless council is working together. As a mayor, I don't even have a vote on council. What I do as a mayor is I'm going to guide I got to guide council so they're not bickering across the way and getting there. It all comes down to respect. They need to respect each other at the table. They can have different opinions, and I actually want to encourage that. Difference of opinion actually makes you better. You get different ideas and get different viewpoints, but the respect has to be there first. And that's one of the first things that I'm going to do, is I'm going to talk to council in executive meeting and talk to them about being respectful for each other. I think that's one of the things that we have to do. If you can't get council to work together, then you can't go forward and do any of the other things we want to do in this town. Development won't come, developers don't want to be here, people who want to bring their business out here don't want to come to someone whose council can't see and talk face to face in an appropriate manner. And that's one of the first things I think I need to do as a mayor, is to get everybody to respectfully respect each other and talk nicely to each other across the table.
Sometimes it kind of stinks for 1 second. I agree completely.
I think we have that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I need to focus on trying to get council to work together cooperatively. unfortunately, you can't control what they do. Everybody's going to have differences of opinion. I'm not going to agree with everybody, and everybody's not going to agree with me or their council members. But they still need to be respectful of each other, work together for the good of the community as a whole. They're there to serve the constituents, not to bicker back and forth banner and not be productive. So the other thing I like to do is I like to talk to village employees, one-on-one, just get input from them. What's your experience been here? What do you think about your job? What do you like about your job? What don't you like about your job? What can the village do for you or provide for you so you can provide better services more efficiently for the residents? So, thank you.
I guess I should have not given you 2 minutes. It's all right.
It just seems longer than that.
Okay, not a problem, not a problem.
How much time do you use?
You broke a minute and he was over just over a minute. You guys get final time, okay? All right, so now you're the second to ask the question, but now you're first. Second question, what are some of the ways you plan to communicate with the residents on a regular basis?
I'm not a social media person, but I do think social media is useful in communicating with the public and the residents. Dublin has something called e-news that they send out regularly. People can subscribe to it, and they send out communications, and it's kind of what's happening in Dublin, to be aware of. It's a great medium to send information out. So, Facebook page and all that through the village, everything we can do to get more information out to the residents is helpful. Be as transparent as we can. Let the village residents know best we can what the economic status of the village is, what we would like to do, what we need resource-wise to do, what we'd like to do, and gain input from the village as far as what services the village sees as a benefit and what services that you may or may not care for.
Communication is big, and especially in a small village, we're close-knit. You can walk anywhere you want, you can see different people. One of the things I think we could do as a communication is use our website that we have for Plain City for people to access. Most people in the village know where that website's at. Get on there, and if you're on there now, it's not updated as regular as it should be. And we need to put the information out there. I think we put the information out there, the community will see what's there, and now they won't be asking as many questions as why we're doing this and why we're doing that. The other way that I'm going to be available, as you heard before, I got 6 kids. I'm at sporting events, I'm at school events. You see me, pull me aside, talk to me, ask me questions. I'm there for that. One thing I have been doing through my campaign is walking. I try to walk once a week. If I'm here, I'll probably end up doing the same thing. I've got to lose weight if you look at me. My kids tell me that. So I'm going to try to do that, and I'll be open to that. But I think the biggest thing we need to do is get communication to you as residents about what we're doing in council, what we're doing in our committees, and what we're doing as administration. I think we do that, you guys will trust council a whole lot more to do the decisions and make the decisions we're making for this village. When you're not doing that, then people start questioning. People start making their own inferences and their own conclusions about things. So if we're more open and more ready, available, and let people have that information, then they'll have that at their fingertips. I would love also to get our meeting minutes as quick as we can out there. My meeting minutes in my office, I try to do that as quick as I can. We have a meeting the next week, we try to print them out over the next couple of days. That's hard to do sometimes when you don't have the staff. And that's one thing we'll have to look at. What staff we got. Just as Darren said before, we got to see what we have here and how to utilize that better. And maybe we can, someone might have time that has that, and we can do that. But that's one thing we will address at that point.
Thank you.
I guess it gets there for a minute.
I'm about to cut you off. Okay, we're on question number 3, so now, question 3. The village states they are in financial strain and are looking at increasing taxes. What is your stance on this?
Don't know all the budget inside and out of how the village is working. I've seen a spreadsheet of what we have for the budget. One of the first things I have to do is take a look and see what we have in the budget and where we're spending everything. Is there a way that we can streamline? Is there some place that we can cut here or spend more here? And where are we taking advantage of what we got in our resources? That's one of the biggest things we need to do. We need to take audit what we've got. That doesn't mean we bring in an outside firm. I think we can do it locally and just with our own staff and say, what have we been doing? What have we been doing right? And what have we been doing wrong? And see where we're at. You always can make changes to anything. Nothing's perfect. You can always make little tweaks here and there. And those tweaks sometimes might not work. Sometimes they will. When it comes to adding for a levy next year, I don't know, because I don't know if we have, with the finances, I got to see where we're at with that. Personally, I don't think with how council's been this year that a levy will go through, personally, because I can't see the support that the village would give council at this point. I really don't. You know, so I don't know if we should go after that levy if we don't have the support of the residents on what council's doing. And I think that's one of the biggest things right there. But when it comes to do we need a levy or not, I'd have to look at the budget and see the numbers and see where it's at before I could say yes or no, we're going to do that.
Thank you. Question number 3. The village states they are on financial strain and are looking at increasing taxes. What is your stance on this?
I have looked over some of the account summaries and just very briefly, and from what I've gathered, it looks like the village finance has been pretty level, pretty flat the last few years. Not much growth that I noticed as far as the general fund. Haven't got into it on that yet, so it's kind of trying to do it. But I think there's probably a good possibility that additional revenue is needed, but until we really sit down and analyze that, I don't know for sure what that amount might be. I think that's really where communication is going to be a key factor to the residents of the village. And that kind of goes with what services do you want the village to provide, and what level of amenities, what level of infrastructure maintenance do you want, and this is what it's going to cost to get us there. And gathering that feedback will help us put that together.
Thank you. Yeah, right. Don't worry, there's like 12 on here.
The last question.
Okay, I'm on question number 4. How and what type of economic development do you plan to implement? Let me say it again. How and what type of economic development do you plan to implement?
I think we need a formal economic development organization in the village. Probably something we need to set up formally as a committee and establish to help the village with those issues. And then partner with agencies, counties, departments of commerce, and exploring those avenues. I know some of that's already been done, but continue those efforts and enhance those efforts. As well as talking with private entities, trying to develop some public-private partnerships, and just generating interest in the village. Part of it also goes with trying to talk with commercial property owners that have buildings in the downtown area and trying to get interest from them in investing in their properties. To help fix the properties up, you're going to have an easier time getting interest in businesses wanting to establish themselves here. If the buildings and areas aren't maintained, they're not necessarily going to move here. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
You got
Economic development, right?
economic development.
Yep.
Do you plan on? Let's see. Let me read it again.
Sure.
All right. How and what type of economic development do you plan to implement?
Okay. One of the things I've been here in 8 years that we've been here, I really haven't seen much development, period, in our town. We haven't seen it grow, we haven't seen how we've got there. One of the things that I've seen, or that I've talked with, I met with county commissioners from both Union County and Madison County. We are unique. We straddle county lines. So we have an opportunity to actually dip into both counties to get budgets, to get grants, to get funding for projects that were there. Meeting when I met with Steve Stolte, the county commissioners up in Union County, he mentioned that, one thing we used to have here was the Chamber of Commerce, and maybe that's something we need to do that would strengthen the downtown businesses a little bit. Give them some type of group that helps them, that organizes, so they can go out and they can have someone represent at the county, at the Chamber of Commerce up in Union County or Madison County, and see what grants and developments there. On the development side, 42 bypass was built 10 years ago. I would love to see development on that bypass. It's on a major corridor, a freight corridor, and if you build something there, and we bring in some slight industrial development, that's going to bring revenue into our town. And from that, we can have an opportunity to improve our roads, improve our downtown, improve our different areas that we've got. But we need to do some of that development. We need to grow on that. That road is, I mean, that 42 corridor, it connects, it's a vital corridor between 33 and 70. If you ever drive through there, you see the trucks coming through, it's a freight corridor. There was just an access study that was done by ODOT, and it tells what's going to happen to this corridor at times and what they want to do. That can be used to take to businesses and development and say, listen, this is a plan we've got. The other thing we need to do is we got to get a plan for our community. Our village has to have a comprehensive plan. I believe one was done, I think, 10 or 12 years ago. We need to have that updated. That's how development can come in. They see what we've got and how we're going to go forward.
Thank you. No, there's two more.
Thanks for mine.
Thanks for coming.
Number 5. You might have already touched on this from what you guys have already said in your question number 1, but I might ask it again, okay? Council seems to have much conflict and not been able to work together to accomplish change. How do you plan to handle? The question is, how do you plan to handle the conflict with council?
I stated this before. I think one of the first things I'll do, I'm going to have an executive meeting with our council, with me, with the administrators, and with the council that's there, that we have, the members that are there. We all have to be on the same, at least, page of respect for each other. I'm a project manager. I deal with ODOT and contractors all day long. One of the things I do really well is I can listen to both sides and I can find a solution. It may not be a solution that they like or they like, but it's right down the middle, hopefully, that there's a piece of part of each one that they like about that. One of the things that's going to happen as mayor, whoever is elected mayor, because we don't have a voice, the council might make a decision that you don't agree with, but we've got to go forward with that. So how do we get council to work together? Well, again, it's about respect. We go behind closed doors and say, listen, you can have the arguments, but don't take it outside and bring it to the table. When we bring it to the table, things can't come forward on that. And so we need to make sure that when we're at that table, we are representing the village. All right? And you're there as a village representative. You've got a disagreement, let's take it behind in the office, you two or three, whoever it is, you guys deal with it there. It shouldn't be out on the front table for everyone to see, for us to do. When that happens, you're taking away time in council meeting to go forward, and it hinders any progress that we can have on that.
Okay, pressure.
Sure.
Okay. Council seems to have much conflict and not been able to work together to accomplish change. How do you plan to handle it?
Yeah, I just, like I agree with you when we first opened up. Talking with council and let's see what the issues are. Personality conflicts, but try and get down to the bottom of, why they're not being productive. Remind them why they're there. You're there for village constituents. If you don't want to be there representing the village and there for the village interest, then maybe you shouldn't be here. Plain and simple. Unfortunately, you don't have control over them. I mean, I deal with conflicts daily, whether it's contractors or residents or whatever. So I get into that quite frequently. Most of the time, I can mitigate the issue and help parties work things out. You can't always be successful. Sometimes you're going to have people who just don't get along no matter what. I'll do is try the best I can.
So don't go too far.
Question number 6. Do you support the efforts of trying to revitalize the downtown area?
I do. I think I touched on this a little bit ago. I'm trying to communicate with the property owners in the downtown to try and generate some interest from them and looking to improve their properties. Looking into what kind of incentives the village might be able to provide to do some of that work or possible assistance with what might be available as far as grants. I think it's a starting point. I do think that downtown does need a lot of improvement, but a lot of it starts with private property. So the village could go through into the street, a lot of the downtown as far as the public area, nice and beautiful, and if we have the funds to do that, we don't. But if the property owners don't fix up their buildings, it doesn't really help that much. So two things need to kind of work together.
Thank you. Got it.
Downtown area is important to this town. If you look down there, we've got some unbelievable buildings. We've got some great character. They do need to be touched up. Some of them need shoring up, some of them need strengthening. But you know, there's grants and there is loans that can be out there that we can go after and see. That's what we have the village engineer for as well. We can tap into that village engineering company that we have and ask them to help us write for grants. That's what they do. We don't need to bring someone in to do grants. We've got them already situated there to do that grant. So that's one way that I've heard that some people want to go out and get somebody. We don't need to because we got somebody there. We can save money that way. But one thing I'd love to do with our downtown is get the power lines off the front and put them in the back. You just clean that up alone, I think our downtown would look a whole lot better right then and there. But that's going to take money. That takes a lot of money to be able to do to move that back. That's infrastructure. That is coordination and trying to get things done. Do I have an answer to that right now? No, but you know, there's revitalization loans that are out there and grants, there's beautification things, just simple things that we can try to find and see where there is money out there from the federal government, from the state that has that. All right, we're not going to try to take money that we have in our budgets now because we really don't have that to spend there. So we're going to have to get creative and go after other areas to help those businesses downtown. I think we also need to promote the businesses that are great downtown, that have done well. Look at Main Street Treasures, look at Grub House 42, look at the auction house. They've done very well down there. Well, let's promote them so other businesses can see what they've done and go through. And even if new businesses want to come in, introduce them to those businesses that have been there for a while. They can learn from what people have been there before. That helps out so much. I think I'm not a business guy. I don't own a business, but you know what? I can find people that can help someone do that, I think, in that aspect.
Thank you. Mike, catch on here sooner or
It's
later.
easier when you're over here.
Question number 7. What areas would you look at to increase revenue for the village?
There's not a lot of areas where you can get revenue from the village, I don't think, at this point. I mean, we have to, one thing we have a wonderful park that's here, and we've talked about that, and that's been a big point of interest in this town is this park, and how we can maybe use this to generate some income. There is other ways that we can do it. We can bring in maybe some festivals. Plain City needs an identity, I think. We have a little bit of an identity, but if you look, West Jeff, everybody knows it for the Ox Bros. London has a strawberry festival. Well, let's bring something back here. Someone told me that we used to have a corn festival here, you know, in the history. Let's bring something back. The fall festival we had this Saturday was good. That's a starting point, I think. We can build off of things like that to bring in. Even maybe we piggyback off with the steam threshers, and we make it a bigger event than it is, taking in things, or do something different. Or build on our heritage we have with the Dare Dutchman, and with our heritage that we have in this town of you know, having the Amish and the Mennonite groups. Build off of that and use that, and if we bring in a festival like that, that brings in revenue to the town a little bit. People will come in and start spending money in this town. Now, we also can rent out that park at that point, and we can make money off of that. Other ways that we might be able to generate revenue, we need to be able to find a revenue stream, and that's hard to do. You got to find, that's when I'm going to get together with council and with the committees and with our administration and say, how can we make this happen? It's not just my ideas. I can help them lead and go forward, but it's council and it's the committees and it's our administration and the mayor all working together to go forward to get things happening.
Thank you.
Can you refresh me?
Sure. Question number 7, right? I'm looking ahead, sorry. What areas would you look at to increase revenue for the village?
I think the best area to look at for increased revenue for the village is business development. We talked about economic development earlier. Residential development is nice, but it's not anywhere near a solution. We need commercial and business development to build that vitality in the town. And that's the way we get an increase in that's the constant revenue stream. In order to do things for the village, start increasing our maintenance on our infrastructure and doing projects like maybe a streetscape downtown if that's what's desired by the community, and putting some more money into our cars. Write some stuff in the paper, considering raising the car fees, and if I recall, seeing somewhere that whenever somebody rents the park or there's an event at the park, it costs the village money for that event to be here, and that shouldn't be the case. Yes, the village should maintain the park on the grounds and that kind of thing, but if somebody wants to host an event here, it shouldn't cost the village anything to host it.
Let's try try.
You guys are gonna assist them.
Yes. It's the answer.
Here's question number 8, and this was a hot topic, and I think the next 4 or 5 are hot topic questions. Number 8, it seems there has been some issues in administration in previous years. Example, stolen gas and water billing errors. What would you look at doing to strengthen our administration procedures?
I remember reading the paper about the gas theft. I don't recall, what was the second?
The water billing errors.
Those errors. I don't recall ever hearing anything about water billing errors. But if that's been the case, I mean, I'm sure that there's probably some methods and procedures that could be done to clean that. I don't know if it was something like a data gathering issue or a data input issue or where those errors may have occurred. But with the gas thefts, I mean, that was an individual that made, unfortunate decisions. Necessarily really can't control these, but look at policies and procedures, and you can define what you can. But if somebody decides to make a poor decision and do something like stealing gas, there's not much you can do. But,
Thanks. Refresh. Okay. It seems there has been some issues in administration in previous years. Example, stolen gas and water billing errors. What would you look at doing to strengthen our administration and procedures?
One of the things I'd like to do is, if I am elected and come January, is sit down with our administrative staff and see who does what and where we have strengths, where we have weaknesses in our administrative. I've heard that we are understaffed in certain areas. Well, let's see. Is there somewhere we can share duties in that aspect so we aren't short-staffed in certain areas? Or does that mean we need to bring someone in? And that might just be the simple thing. So we have checks and balances that we'll need to have. All right? Especially when it comes to the water bills, we just got to make sure that everything's getting checked. Once somebody puts something in, have someone else do a check on that. I've got, in my office as an engineer, I do a calculation, I give it to another engineer, and he has to check it. We make sure we check each other's work. It takes 2 seconds for me to be able to do that. Now, again, we have a small staff that's here. I'll know more come January when I can see who the staff is and what their duties are and what their roles are. We may have some staff that may be under-trained. Well, if that's the case, let's get them trained so we can take advantage, so we don't have those errors or these misses that are there. And, there's going to be human error. That's going to happen. It's how we address those human errors and how we address those corrections and correct it for the public that will be better. And if we have people that are trained or have the knowledge that they need, then I think we'll be better off with that. But I think one of the first things they need to do is see the knowledge that we have, see the duties we have, and are they trained in that aspect? And if they're not, then let's get them trained. There's things we can do for that.
Is that it?
Yep. I don't walk off.
Anyone want to cut you off?
No, sorry, I almost walked off.
29 seconds early. Okay. That was number 8. Moving on to number 9. What is your stance on the increase of park fees?
I actually sit on the Parks and Rec board. I started sitting on the Parks and Rec board, I think, April or May of this year. When you ask a question and say, how do you set, I had questions about the Parks and Rec, and the next thing you know, I've been asked to sit on the Parks and Rec board. So be careful what you ask for. But my kids use the park. My kids are in baseball, softball, they're in soccer programs, so that's why I wanted to sit on the park. Plus, I heard they were doing a master plan, and that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to sit on the Parks and Rec board. When we got in there, we started talking about fees, and then we need to increase them. We need to see where we can. The fees right now, as they situate, someone could actually rent the park, and if I might have the wrong number, Kevin can remind me, $50,000 would rent the whole park for the year, right? So one person come in and slap down $50,000 and would rent this whole park for the whole year, and then they could dictate who is in here and who's not, and charge them. Well, that's not right. That shouldn't happen. Now, we wouldn't let somebody do that, I don't think. Hopefully, we wouldn't allow that to happen. But right now, I think we need to, as stated before, as Darrin said, when someone uses the park, I know we have administrative costs that comes in. We need to just make sure we cover that. Do we need to look at those fees? Yes, we do. We need to look at, do we need to increase it as far as we had so far? Yeah, from the last council, I believe it's coming back to our committee meeting. We're going to come back and take a look at those fees again. They want us to do a little more research. That's how checks and balances work. It just doesn't go from our committee and gets passed. Council did their job. They looked at it. They had questions. It's going to come back to Parks and Rec again. And so Do we need to increase fees? I believe we do. We do need to increase some of the fees. Do we need to look at what we've adjusted it so far to what we proposed? I think we do. I don't know if we need to go double, but we do need to increase those fees so we can actually, we have an opportunity here that we are the only municipality that has a park that has camping facilities where you can actually have a revenue on it.
Thank you, sir.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Cheated you out 3 seconds.
Oh.
Cheated refresh.
No, it's okay. I do believe that there needs to be an adjustment in the park fees. I don't know what that amount is. I don't know if what was proposed initially, that was in the paper recently, is the right number or not. The paper said they're going to send it back to the Parks Committee to reevaluate and get us more information. I think that's good. Council have questions, and they're what they're supposed to do. Let's look into this a little bit more. We're not quite comfortable, this big of a rate increase unless it's really necessary. But like I said before, if somebody wants to rent the park, the cost for them to rent the park ought to cover the village's expenses. The village shouldn't have to cover any incidental costs for them renting the park, whether it's any cleanup afterwards, administrative costs for processing, who knows what those costs are. But if somebody wants to use the park for their use, their organization's use, what they're paying for the facilities should cover the cost for that. So.
Okay.
All right. We got the hanging down.
I know. He didn't walk away. Question number 10. Do you have plans to change or strengthen our police department?
Not at this time. I think before I could have a position where I need to sit down and talk to the police chief and really get an understanding of what the staffing level is, what the level of services that we're able to provide, and what issues we may have with coverage, crime areas, incident areas, that type of thing, to see if there's any need for additional staffing and resources for the police department. Offhand, I don't know if that's the case or not. It could be warranted, but at this time, I don't know.
That's it. I don't think we need to increase right now either. I don't know the whole police staff that's there. Again, it's something, come January, I'll take a look at it and see what is their staffing level. Do they need, what are their needs, and what are their wants? Those are two different things. You do the same thing in your household. You take a look at what your needs are and what your wants are. Well, let's take a look and see what is needed for the police department. At this time, I think the staffing is there, but I don't know. I haven't sat down with the chief and met with him. That's something that I will do as a mayor. That I need to know what's going on in the whole community. So that is one thing that we have to do, is make sure our checks and balances, and we'll sit down together and see what is the police staff right now, where do we want it to go, and as a village does increase, where's our future for that police force? Do we have things set aside for them? Is there training that needs to be available? Is there training we're missing out on? Even though we're just a small village, is there things that we should be doing? Is there ways that we can get, does he need to be in the schools and train the teachers for something? Is that something that they can do? Our police department does a really good job in this town. You see them, they're visible. I like that. I feel safe. I feel safe knowing that I can drive around town and I see the police cars around. I see them there. They're out talking to people, and I like that. And that's right now, that's why I don't think we need more, but then again, I don't know what our needs are at this time. I don't know what is an acceptable level, I guess, for the police force for a small village. That's something we'll have to research.
Thank you.
I feel safe also.
What?
I said I also feel safe with the police department. So, question number 11 out of 12. So bear with us, okay? Question number 11 says the pool funding and building of the pool did not go as many had expected. What, if anything, would you do different when implementing a large project like this?
The pool didn't go as well as it was supposed to, from the history that I've heard. If we had a large project that happened like that again, need a little more oversight over, one, the engineering firm, one, the construction that happened that was there. And if we don't have the staff, or we don't have the expertise to do that, that's when we bring people in. And we bring someone in to watch over that and look at that. Again, we have a village engineer, their company may have staff on there that are construction inspectors. Let's tap into that knowledge and bring them out here and use that. My company that I work for, we do that. We're a village engineer for New Albany, but we are also inspectors for New Albany. Anything that gets constructed in New Albany, we send one of our guys out to do the inspection and oversee that, because we are an extension of the New Albany village that's there. And so we make sure everything is happening the right way. And when you do that, you're looking at cost overruns. You're looking at, especially with the engineering, you check the drawings. Is all the fees there? Is the estimate book in order? Is there anything missing? Those are things that need to be checked prior to it being constructed. That's one thing that we have checks and balances that we have to do. So you have the right people in place, then you might not have as many issues that you had in the past. And so that's one thing you gotta have. You gotta have the right people with the right knowledge and the right skills looking over the project.
Thanks, sir. Say it again.
Please.
Sure. Question number 11 was the pool funding and building of the pool did not go as many had expected. What, if anything, would you do different when implementing a large project like this?
No specifics, I'm not really sure what you're referring to. The only two issues that I recall with relation to the pool construction is one problem with some of the soils that they encountered during construction that resulted in some overage construction costs that weren't anticipated. And then as far as the levy and appropriation, I don't believe they accounted for the design fee initially. I think that was just a communication error. The engineer and the designer, they were scoped to do this work up front, and they were, and that's the scope was what they're to do was to provide the village as far as construction documents, plans, services during construction, and this is what the fee is. And then, the total cost of the project is, that cost plus the construction cost is, so I think that was just late communication error, whether it was on, whether it was about preparation that was provided to the council, or how that information was assembled somewhere along the way. The ball was dropped, it wasn't communicated enough. But with the soils, I don't know what the design firm was scoped for. If they were scoped to provide that information to people or speed up investigation to make sure that the site was suitable. There was already a pool there. The decision may have been made that, there's already a pool there, the site's probably suitable, versus doing a site investigation to see if there are issues. So, definitely look at the scope a little closer and, try and make sure that you get as much information as possible and try and alleviate cost overages, but they are going to happen.
Vote for you.
I messed up.
What's your vote? I took 3 seconds from him, I took 3 seconds from you.
Okay.
All right, this is the last question I have. We'll have our closing arguments, and then we'll be done with that. Questions and answers afterwards. Question number 12. There seems to be a lot that needs done to the streets, infrastructure, equipment, and buildings. How do you plan to organize, prioritize, and accomplish all these needs?
That's actually one of my goals, is that I take a work with village staff on going through and doing a comprehensive infrastructure review, comprehensive inventory of all the village's assets. That's everything: streets, traffic lights, street lights, water lines, sewer lines, water plant, wastewater plant, city hall, zoning office, police station, all the equipment. And Kevin's already started down some of that with some of the equipment, working on that information for the equipment replacement and stuff down the road. You need to do a good comprehensive analysis and then project when those assets are going to need maintenance, which hasn't been done. And that's one of the primary reasons I decided to join the mayor. I've lived here for 20 years and I've seen lack of a lot of things being taken care of. So it starts with getting a good assessment of knowing where you are, planning for what you're going to have to do to try and minimize the cost in the future. The longer you wait to fix things, the more it's going to cost. Between things continuing to break down, get worse, and inflation, it costs you more later than it does now. The longer you put it off, the more you're going to have to spend.
Thank you, sir. Need a refresh?
Nothing I remember.
Okay.
That's one of that's the lifeblood of this village is our infrastructure. Our roads, our buildings, our water treatment plant, that we've got, our wastewater. Those are things we need to take care of. If those break down, our village breaks down. So we need to make sure that they're running in good order. One thing we can do is Darren said, you do an assessment. You go through and make sure what do we have. Almost like an audit on what our roads are. You can go through and do a condition assessment on each of these roads. See what needs to be patched, what roads need to be patched here and there. Once you have that, an inventory done on each one of the roads, the streets, the curbs, light poles, all that, you can put it in you can put it in order and put it priorities on the, can't even say the word. You can say what you want to do, and then you can start allocating money to that. And then you can look to the future. If you don't have that set in that list there, now you're answering stuff on, you're fixing things because it broke. And that's not good maintenance. That's not good management of money. You're reacting instead of planning for the future. So one thing we need to do is, as Darren said, and I'm going to do the same thing, you need to do an assessment, see what we have, take that inventory and see what condition the roads are in. All right? We have an engineering firm, I've said that before. They can come out and take a look at the roads. They have the expertise. Does the roads need patched? Do they just need, some sealant put on it? Do they need to be, have the hot asphalt put over top of it to seal all the cracks? That could just be done, or does it need a full depth replacement? Those are things where we call in the experts, our engineering firm. We have them there for a reason. We have them to do that, ask their opinion on that, and that's what we'll have to do with our roads and infrastructure.
All right, sir. Don't go too far. We'll just have this closing arguments and then you're next, okay? Closing arguments here for the candidates. This time you get 5 minutes. When you're ready, go ahead.
Hopefully it'll take that long. I love this community. We moved out here 8 years ago and it was the best decision we ever made in my family. We love our community that we're at on our little cul-de-sac. We live on Cottonwood Court, and if you ever come down through it, we have, when we first moved out here, I think we had 42 kids on our block, some number like that. It was fun. You could hear the kids playing outside, and that's what I love. The kids could run outside and play. I love this. That's why I want to be mayor. I want to make this community keep that feel. I don't want to lose that small town feel over here. As mayor, I see my role as 4 things. All right? I see myself as a cheerleader for this town. What does that mean? I promote the businesses that are here. Promote Lovejoy's. Promote the pharmacy. What other town has a pharmacy that delivers to your house? We need to promote that. Promote the little businesses downtown that we've got. We need to cheerlead those people so they can feel that they have the community support. Second, I'm a recruiter. My job as a recruiter is to go out and find business development. Where do we need to develop? Where don't we need to develop? What kind of businesses do we want here? Personally, I think we got enough land inside the Big Darby that we need to develop inside of there before going outside the Big Darby. That'll come in the future at some point. We don't need to go that direction. We need to stay in here. Look at all the land that we got inside the Big Darby that we've got here. There's enough here to develop that has never been touched. We have some great potential. So I'm a recruiter, I'm a cheerleader, I'm a project manager. All right, we've talked a lot tonight about council and how we're going to help with council. That's my job as a mayor, as a project manager, to keep council going forward. Getting them to make a decision, and once the decision's made, to go forward with that. Don't come back 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later and say, we need to revisit that. Hold it. If we made a vote, and we have that vote of confidence, then we need to go forward. There's going to be times council votes on something I'm not going to be happy with. But as a mayor, and I got to strive forward and go with that. And be that trumpet, and be that leader for them. So that's my 4th one. I'm a leader for this community. I need to step up as a mayor, point us in the direction that we need to go to. In the next 2 years, there's going to be another census being done. This village will become a city. It should be pretty close to that. I think it's 5,000 is usually the limit. That's that tipping point. I want to be part of that group that helps this village go to a city and make those changes. We also have the bicentennial coming up in 2018. I want to be part of that. What a cool experience to be in a town that we live in, a village, and celebrate our bicentennial. That is really cool, and I'd love to be part of that and be part of that group that makes and celebrates this town the way it is. So those are the 4 reasons why I want to be mayor. One of my roles as mayor, I see as those 4 things. I'm going to be a cheerleader, I'm going to be a recruiter, I'm going to be a project manager, I'm going to be a leader for this town, I think. That's what I want to do. Again, we can say all we want up here, but as a mayor, I don't have really, I have the voice to lead the council, but council makes those decisions. It's going to take the mayor, the councils, all of our committees and the administration to make all the things that we've set up here happen. We just can't do it ourselves. It's going to have to take all of those people and all those entities to do it. So one person can have the ideas, but I can strive forward, but I got to get everybody else to buy in and help out. And there's going to be times when council has ideas that, you know what, that's a great idea. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, it's not just about me doing this, it's about us making this village what it is, and making Plain City what it is, and making and celebrating it. We need to celebrate that a lot. Thanks.
Sir. Did you refresh? Go ahead.
What was the question? Again, thank you for everybody coming out. It's nice to see interested people. Thank you for putting this together. Trying to, to give you guys an idea of who we are and, what we would like to see happen and what our plans and ideas are. And I don't have all the ideas. I'm sure you don't either. Anybody that has a thought or idea, just feel free to share it with whoever the mayor might be, or the council members, or whoever. Some things may work, may be beneficial, and sometimes maybe not. But it doesn't hurt to ask and communicate that. I jotted down some goals, so I'll go through this. And a lot of these we've already kind of touched on the questions you asked. Manage development to ensure a balance in development within the village. That's a balance between business and residential. We don't need a tremendous amount of residential growth. We need to encourage business and commercial investment. We have a lot of areas open for development, and it's just a matter of working with them there. Develop a formal economic development plan consistent with encouraging development interest in the village. And so that's establishing an economic development commission. Members would be the mayor, a couple members of council, a couple members of Plain City residents, and a member of ALCO is an option. A good committee together and designate a point person so that if we have somebody interested in the village, they get into contact and we can set up a program to help facilitate that type of work. Implement a strategic infrastructure plan to allow for adequate budgeting and proactive maintenance for improved maintenance of village assets. I talked about this earlier. Streets, water lines, sewer lines, water plant, wastewater plant, everything the village owns. There's a lot of areas that need maintenance and haven't had it, and we need to start somewhere. Gain input from the community as to what services, resources, and community events are important to the residents. I mentioned that earlier. Manage the village operations and provide the desired services to the residents. Improve communication between the village and residents. We touched on this earlier. Social media, the website, there's a lot of avenues available, but a lot of it is just being transparent and putting the information out there. Trying to make it easily accessible. I mentioned this earlier, village. They have any suggestions on what they may improve? What are their goals? What would they like to do? Do they have any career goals? Try to develop additional community activities for the community. We talked about this a little bit earlier. It could be, like you mentioned, another festival or something like that. Some senior community activities. There's a lot of possibilities. We can gain that input from the community. What's important to communities and what kind of community activities do you like to see here? Thank you.
That's it? All right. With that, I'd like to thank everybody for taking time out of your night to come up and listen to these candidates. This isn't like CNN. I'm not going to say, hey, declared winner was this, no. You guys make the decision on who the winner is, okay? That's going to happen 4 weeks from today. That's why I chose today. I encourage you to get out and vote.
I used to.
And with that, we're pretty much done. Gentlemen, it's time for you guys to shine again. So if you have any questions for them, please approach them, ask them, go right ahead. And is there anybody here from the media? Nobody from the media? Okay. All right, thank you.